Okay, on the left hand side I have my production server, and on the right hand side I have my standby server. So what we'll do is, first of all, we'll connect to the production server and we'll check the database name, $, database. We see that it is ProdDB and the open mode is read write. Let us connect to the database on standby, open underscore mode from $database. So in our previous session we have seen how do we create a standby server. We have created a physical standby. Now to check the database role for physical standby, we need to query another additional column under $database, that is select name, comma, database underscore role, comma, open underscore mode from $database. This will tell us exactly current role of the database. Now when you switch the roles of the database, remember this column will tell you what is the current role of the database. Let us query this on standby. Right, it shows as physical standby. So till now we have only created the standby database. We have not seen whether the log shipping service is working or not, or log apply service is working or not. So what we need to do is we need to now get inside the data guard configuration. Currently we have a standby server, but data guard is not enabled. What is the meaning of data guard? Data guard means you have a primary server, you have a standby server, log shipping is working, and log apply service is working. Correct. Now we need to ensure whether really the log shipping is working or not, or whether really logs are being applied onto standby or not. So we'll start the log apply service on standby. Okay, so this is the command with which we can start the log apply service. It starts with alter database, recover, manage standby database, disconnect from session. Let us run this command. What this command will do is it will alter the current database, that is my standby database, and it will recover the standby database. When I say recover, it means apply the logs. So it will recover the manage standby database, and I'm saying disconnect from session. I think it's hidden. Yeah, disconnect from session. It means come out of the current SQL query, because if you do not give this disconnect from session, your prompt will stop at this query only. It won't come to the SQL prompt again. So we are saying like, okay, boss, perform the recovery of my standby database for all the logs that are being received from the production server. Just start recovery of this database, nothing but start applying those archive logs, and then perform this in the background. So that is nothing but disconnect from session. Right. Next is we need to verify the log apply service. So this is the view called as $manage standby. We need to query this view, and this view will tell us whether the log apply service is working fine or not. With the previous command, alter database, recover, manage standby database, disconnect from session, you start log apply service. Apply service has been started, but you need to make sure whether it is really running or not, because sometimes it might happen that you start the apply service, but there are some errors which are only reported in the alert log. So this command, select process status sequence number from $manage standby. This will give us exact output of all the processes which help building the physical standby. Now you will see some new processes. First new process is RFS. RFS is nothing but remote fetch service. What is the job of remote fetch service? It is like a receiver at the standby end. From the production, archives are being transferred onto the standby server. But on the standby server, there should be someone to receive those archives. These RFS process is nothing but the one which receives the archives which come from primary server. Now once the RFS gets the entire archive log, the current archiver process that is nothing but the local archiver process of the standby database. It will apply that archive log to the standby database. Now there is one more process called as MRP. MRP is nothing but managed recovery process. This is not maximum retail price, it is managed recovery process. The job of MRP is to monitor the logs. So what it will do is all the archives which are received, MRP will try to apply those using the archiver process to the current database. Now if you see, it is waiting for the log number 40, which means on the production currently 40 is the log number which is being generated. Let us go to the production server. We'll check the production archive log sequence number, archive log list. Can we see the current log sequence number is 40? So that's the reason MRP process is waiting for log number 40. Let us perform a log switch. Alter system switch log file. So it should go to 41, one more 42, one more time 43, one more time 44. Let us run the command once again in the standby. Now can you see, initially when I ran, it was waiting for log number 42. Okay, and now the MRP is waiting for log number 44, and the archiver process, one process is applying 41, one process is responsible for applying 42, another archiver process is responsible for 43. Now this means that our data guard configuration is working perfectly fine. Once again, just to let you know, do not try to compare the sequence number by checking the archive log list command. This will give you wrong data. If you check archive log list, right now it will show correct values because our DR is in sync. But still, even though if there is a gap or if archives are not being applied, never ever check your DR sync with this command by just comparing the log sequence number by issuing this archive log list command. No, that is not the way. You have to check the DR configuration, or if your physical standby is really in sync with your production server or not, by using this query. In this query also, the main thing that you have to look at it is the MRP process and the waiting for log number. The log number which it is waiting for should be the current log sequence onto the production server. Then we can say that DR is in sync. And to test your DR, like how we performed some log switches right now, you also try to perform some log switches on production and see if those numbers are changing on the standby or not. Right. So that is about how to start the log apply service and how to verify the log apply service. Now next one is how do we stop the log apply service. Now to stop the log apply service, we use the same command, alter database recover manage standby database, and then we just simply specify cancel. So this will cancel our MRP process. Let us check. Now it says that database altered. If we go back and query the $manage standby view, you can see that there is no MRP process. RFS is there, archive is there, but MRP is not running, which means your log apply service is not running.